It started way back in, I think, 2018 when I had to make that final decision. And I know we're going to get into it, but one of the things is like what shapes and what motivates you to do what you do. And for me, it was getting out of debt. So I'm gonna hold that as like a spiller, and I know we'll get into it. But what has drove me in the past couple of years is that drive to make sure I'm leaving a legacy. That's how we connected. We're all about leaving legacy and how can we help others. It's not about gatekeeping. If I can do it, y'all can do it. So I'm here. I'm here to share.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Look, Rhonda, I ain't gonna hold you, right? I know that you was bad and you and Dima did y'all thing, right? But to be honest, I didn't know how big it was till I seen you on the Dave Ramsey show. I was like, I know her. Oh snap! I'm famous too. You know how we do. We see somebody we know on TV. And be like,
Yes.
oh, I know her.
That's my cousin.
Come on now.
Like you not related to them.
So
Right,
let
yes.
me, let me ask you this question:
Okay.
how much did you eliminate? Like altogether, how much did you eliminate?
All right, it was 266,100 and some odd dollars. Like, let's just round it off.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll add an extra that's about
Wow.
267. Let's just say 267, somewhere around there.
267 we paid off in about 5 years.
Oh wow. Oh wow. This is 267 going in 5 years.
Yes,
Some people don't even make that much money in 5 years. So y'all paid off that
No.
much debt in 5 years? That is
yes.
crazy. What did being in that debt in that hole of that 267, like what did that feel like emotionally?
It was draining. It was, and I think I wanted to talk about and say like what made us say we cannot keep on with this debt. So I
Mhm.
had my first son in 2017, and I remember it was almost time to start looking at daycare. So now we're fast forwarded to 2018. We've got to put him in daycare. When
Mm-hmm.
we were touring schools, we're looking at the 4 stars, the 5 stars, and the daycares for infants. It was like double our mortgage. And we're like, how the hell? Like at this point, you're thinking about your child's safety. Like I can't. We not playing with no 2 stars. Like I want my
Oh,
child in the best daycare.
Your child in the hood got duck bullets and sing the ABCs at the same time. A, B.
duck. D is for duck.
I'm
And not a
like,
rubber
and it
duck.
was scary. Like as a new mother to say that I had to go back to work and leave my child, and where can I and what can I afford and where I want him to be. And I was like,
Yeah.
this ain't adding up. Like I went to school, got the education. I'm new. I'm married. I'm in the whole thing. And to be in a point where I'm having to contemplate where I leave my child, I was like, oh no, we not doing this. And
Yeah.
so it was like we hunkered down and said, all right, we're gonna figure it out. He's gonna go to this 4 star, 5 star daycare, and we're gonna keep trying to do what we can. And then fast forward, so this is 2018. My husband finishes school. Dima finishes in 2020. I was like, it got real because I was like, we got a baby in daycare. I got my student loans, and now Dima coming out of his student loans. I was like, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like, we got to be serious. We got to be intentional because we're drowning.
Yes.
We're frustrated. We're new parents. He's in school, and like, we've got to do more than just surviving. And it was hard to see. We weren't really enjoying the money we were making because we're responsible. So of course we're paying all our bills. We got childcare. We got all the things. It was suffocating. And like, what do you do? So that was kind of what made us say enough's enough. We can't keep being an autopilot. Like we want something better.
Yes. And I feel like a lot of people really don't realize that a lot of like relationship problems, marital problems, that really comes from financial stress.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
you get mad at your woman because why you want to eat out all the time? And it's not that her eating out all the time, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you put a little love weight, that's okay, right? But it's not so much that she eating out all the time. It's well, shoot, I don't know if my bank account can handle you being able to eat out all the time. So it caused frustration. It caused that, oh man, here she go again. And it's not so much that you're manage your partner, you manage your bank account.
Yeah.
You manage
Right,
your wallet. Cause you like,
right.
Lord, we got all these bills to pay. and she want Chick-fil-A every day. I mean, like, is the
Like-
chicken that good?
Like, yes, like, hey, the electricity bill is due, but I want a number one. Okay.
Right.
But
Right.
also, too, adding to what you said, Rhonda, is when it comes to couplehood, how did you and Dima navigate finding out what your spending habits were so you guys could get on the same page about paying off $267,000 of debt?
Yeah.
Like, because we have a lot of couples on here who really want to know, like, how do you get on the same page about that? Because most of us, how we grew up, each partner will typically grow up different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you brought that up, because you do grow up different. So by the time you come together as a couple, you've got the history of your family, how they handle money, and then you as an adult, a young adult, how you handle money, and then you come together and you're trying to make it work. So for us, it was having a conversation. Until this day, we have monthly check-ins. It's not a maybe. It's not a, well, we gonna do this later. It is intentional. We send a Google Calendar, like a Google Meet. Please accept. Like, you need to show up and be prepared to have the conversation. Like, it is not, well, maybe we, no. Like, I
So
would
show up
say,
like it's a meeting, like it's a real
yeah,
meeting. Like, no, you better show up on time too, because I'm a docu-pack.
and you better have something to say too. Like, don't come unprepared.
You cannot be a spectator in here. You must be a participant.
Notes, ledgers, everything. Bring what you got. Receipts.
Love and ledgers. Okay.
Love, yes. It is one of those things where, be honest. If you're trying to go on a boys' trip, you trying to go out with your girls, spot whatever it is, bring it to the meeting so you guys can plan for it. If you want to go out, I think that's fine. I tell couples that they need that time, especially if you are parents. You need to have that time where just your husband, your partner, your kid, like, set out that time and make sure you're investing in yourself. Because if you don't, all you're doing is spending your money on bills. Like, you have to pour into yourself as a couple so you can love on your family, on your children, and be united. So that is the key to, like, how we continue to plug away, because we had common interests. We were together. It wasn't Dima had his account, I had my account, you pay those bills, I pay those bills. Like, and I want to say we started out that way and it wasn't working. Yeah. He's not your man, they're not your roommate. They are your love, like the person that you wanted to share your life with.
They're
and
your love and ledger.
Right. Right. And I say this, and I say, can I say this? But when it comes down to money, if you are in a relationship and you're sharing all the things, the intimacy, all the things, but you cannot talk about your money, there's a problem.
Yes.
Bro, what?
We agree.
You tell me about all the sexual positions. You tell me how you want it this way and that way, but we can't talk about how many zeros in your bank account.
You licked me from the rooter to the tutor, but
we can't talk about your credit score.
Going to Chick-fil-A.
What's your credit score looking like? But the first date we talk about what you like, but we can't talk about your credit score. I don't understand that. I don't understand.
And I think that's where it comes with. I don't want to say it's just our generation or our culture. I don't know what it is, but I don't understand how we can't be that transparent about money. But we can do, and we can post, and we can do all the things. But when someone starts saying how much you make, you kind of shunning back, and you like, I don't want to talk about it. You cannot. And what I also say about for healthy couples is own it. If you got a lot of debt, that's okay. Like, we gonna say, baby, we here together. That right? Like, show up for each other. Show up and say, and that's another thing. Like, if you said, like, with me and my husband, it wasn't his debt anymore. It was my debt. And my debt was his debt.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time for the people in the back. They couldn't hear it. It wasn't just his debt. It was who debt?
My debt. Like, there you go. You gotta own it with your whole chest. Like, just
it's true. Now,
I think that's the part where you cannot attack it alone and in isolation and trying to say my money, your money, all those things. You got to own it wholeheartedly and say that we're going to get through it together. And that's going to help shape the course of how you guys move and how making sure you're intentional and successful.
Yes. Yeah. I would say real quick, but I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go.
I was gonna say just to kind of speak on what you were speaking on earlier about like, my money, your money. I don't know about sharing my account with you, stuff like that. Cause I grew up in let's say a trauma-filled quote unquote home. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like whatever's mine, I gotta hold on to it, like back up. You know what I'm saying? It's mine, I'll bite you, right?
You gotta get yours.
Surely you better get yours, cause I'm surviving over here. And maybe it come from people living in survival mode in their household. Again, it ain't gotta be, when I say trauma filled, I ain't talking about I was getting beat every day, y'all. I mean, again, it was people that did. I apologize. I'm not trying to be funny. But what I'm saying is like it was a dog eat dog type household.
Yeah.
If you don't stand up, if you don't go get it, you're gonna be without it. And so when I got into our relationship, I struggled, like, let her know what's in my account. Like, bro, sit back. I got this. When you need something, let me know. Right? Oh, we putting all the money in the same pot. I don't know about that. How you know what's your money and I know what's my money?
Can I say something about that, Tim? Like, and it also, if it comes down to one person may make more than the other, right? So then sometimes it's low key a little bit of a power trip of, well, I make this money, so really I can kind of call the shots. No, you can't. Like, if you are a couple who love each other, who respect each other, all those things, when you put it into the joint account, it's our money. It ain't, I don't care how much you make. It don't matter how much I make. It's our money. Like,
come on now.
I agree. But it's so hard for people to let go. But how at least how me and my husband do it is we have a joint account for the joint bills. He has his own account. I have my own account because I'm really not trying to see, there's the trust too. Like, you need to be able to feel like you a man and you could do what you need to do. And I don't need you checking to say what I'm doing. Like, so, like,
them Chick-fil-A every day. You don't even know about that.
It's my business. Like,
for it. I'm gonna do that over here.
You don't even know about it because we talked about it in our monthly check-in. We agreed about allowances to say, hey, when it hits your account, do whatever you do, and I'm gonna do what I do over here. So that's how it works, at least in the Payne household.
I love it. It. Let me ask you this. Oh, you got a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that a lot of times because we're talking about where all of us are now. But I don't want to forget, because there may be some couples on here who are like, hey, I don't really have that trust factor with them, because a lot of times with couplehood, we may, like, if we done something to each other, we may bring that over to our financial side. Or a lot of times, like, one person may have mismanaged the funds. And so now they're kind of like, y'all talking about making a joint account? I feel like I would just give all my power away if I did that. So could we kind of handle that, just to see, like, how do you really build that trust factor? Because like Tim said, a lot of our community, and I'm not speaking for all of us because some of us did not grow up in a lot of trauma, but in our community, a lot of us come from heavy financial trauma. You got McDonald's money? That's a financial trauma. Because that's a continuous reminder that you don't have enough. That's what it's sent into your brain. So if you could speak on that, and just give your honest feedback about, like, how do you really build that trust factor on finances? Because to do that, you gotta do it on all cylinders.
That's so true. Thank you for kind of slowing down and saying that we are all going to approach it differently. So I do want to acknowledge that for some of the couples who are a little bit shy about what it would take to do. And I would say start small. You have to build that trust. If you're like, I can't give all of my check to this joint account, what do you feel comfortable? Like, if you and your household were splitting bills, you're like, all right, so I was covering these bills and you were covering these bills. How about we put the money in here together? And what I have found, at least for us, what we do is automation. So you can't get mad at your spouse for why you didn't pay that bill or you paid that bill late. So take some of the ownership or responsibility off of your partner or yourself and see if you guys can start with automations and getting comfortable with that. And I feel like when you having those check-in meetings, and you have a joint account, you can see all of the deductions that are coming out, but you should already kind of know, well, okay, we said this bill is going to come out, we're going to do this and do that. So it would be a red flag if you see something that was deducted out of the joint account and say, hey, what happened? And so, and it's just don't accuse, don't go in there hot, like ready to fight, but just have a conversation like, oh, I see something was deducted out of our joint account. Can we talk about it? So always go in with a can we talk and not go with the accusation or feeling like your partner did something without trying to tell you, because there's always like a reason as to why that happened. And I think once you get comfortable with having the monthly check-ins, you both can see the joint account, everything is going smooth, you got automations, you will start to feel like, okay, you have earned my trust despite what my past was in my childhood. I can trust and put more into the account, because when all the money's together, you can see it. You can be intentional about, all right, now we need, what bill do we need to address? And that is how you can really be spot on and paying more and making traction outside of I'm gonna do this and you that. Like,
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. We do have a question.
Well, I was gonna say this. I know Rhonda actually have like a lesson plan for you guys to give y'all a whole like lesson. And then once she finished that, we're gonna do Q&As. What basically give a chance for people to ask questions. We'll ask you a couple of questions from the audience. And then, you know what I'm saying, we'll quote unquote wrap it up. But I wanted you to definitely get this lesson out, because again, I want to make sure that people really get the nuts and bolts on what this thing really looks like. So we gonna shut up. The floor is yours, Rhonda.
no, this is, and Tim, please let me know. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is meant for us to be informal. I want to have a conversation. I'm a speaker who I don't want to really speak at you, but I want you to have a conversation with me, because at the end of the day, I want you to walk away with, even if it's one thing for me, it's like, how can you take this and really apply it? So I definitely want to kind of get into it and have you guys feel a part of it. So as we were putting this program together, we really wanted to hone in and say, like, money is the center of all things, whether we want to admit it or not. And when I was doing the research, I found that 1 in 3 partners are talking, and money is the root of cause for disagreement. That's 1 in 3. Like, that is not like 1 in 50. That's like, if we look at the people on this webinar, half of us are fighting about money.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
So that is impactful. So I wanted to just stop and say, like, it's not you. Don't feel like, oh my God, we're struggling. It's common. But what we're going to do is we don't want to leave you in that space of feeling helpless. We want to make sure leaving here, you have the tools. Because I think what Tim and V shared is like, when you don't have the tools, you don't know. So you are figuring it out as you go. And that's hard.
Yes.
So one of the things I wanted to, this is my interaction part of the group of our session and time together. I wanted to pose the question to the audience, like, why does money matter so much in relationships or in your relationship?
Okay. All right, guys, y'all heard that question? Throw it in the chat. Like, why does money matter in your relationship? Let's see what some answers we get.
This is a great question.
Great question. That's a great question, because a lot of times people really don't even focus and realize, like, well, dang, you know, why do we argue about money so much? Like, what is the problem there? And I'll say for us, like, why does money matter so much in our relationship? You know, for us, we felt that it was, we gotta have it. Yeah. We need this money to survive.
Or we will be in the dark.
Or we want to be in the dark. But let's go to some of the people in the group. So,
all right, so we got money provides options and options matter. We have security and stability. We have it creates freedom, time together or apart. I love that. Money is a tool that provides options and access to resources. The Anthony said it's our livelihood. And then money gives us choices.
Yes. I'm so like, I think we all fundamentally feel that way. And so that is what I want from a takeaway or making a note to say why money matters to you, because you need to have that when at the core of your meetings with your partner is saying that's your values of why is money important. And if you're saying, baby, stability is important, then he needs to hear you as your spouse and saying, wait, she's attaching her stability, her safety to money and how I show up. So I need to make sure that if I am, maybe my hours got short, do I need to pick up an extra job? Do we need to cut how we're spending? Like, it's kind of a valuation of understanding at the root of how do you show up and how is money impacting your relationship. So understanding what you all shared with me is your values and how you see it. Like, it's just one of those things that you can lean on.
If I could add, it's for what I'm hearing, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing is like this is pretty much as much as it's just as important as a love language. Like everybody really harps on, all right, well, love me in my love language or give to me within my love language how I receive it. So if you basically provide stability for your partner, because that's something that's important for them, that's how they receive love. That's why money may matter so much to them.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay,
I
okay.
agree.
I told you I was about to get some psychology. This is some good stuff. I don't know about
Rhonda,
y'all.
you're killing it.
This was free. This ain't
Thank
even paid
you.
for this.
Listen, like I was a psychology major, although I didn't go into that as my career. Everything, I'm always asking the why. So that was, I wanted you to take away why does it matter? You might not be able to verbalize it in that moment, but you guys were able to spot on say why it matters. So hold that and make sure you communicate it so you don't get frustrated because your partner doesn't understand. And you say, baby, this is why, X, Y, and Z happened. Can we get back to this? And it's going to continue to flow throughout, the relationship. So thank you guys for that little tidbit. Cause I was like, I have to ask, like, inquiring minds want to know. Like,
yeah, you got one more, Rhonda.
Oh,
we had one participant, they said for them, it's about building something of value to leave something behind. They have joint and separate accounts, but they really want to build now and not just pay bills.
mm-hmm. That's powerful. Thank you for
Yes,
sharing that, because now that you guys have that, it is once you get to the other side of your debt is starting to come down, it's almost like, damn, what do we do? Because we were just so used to paying debt.
Yeah.
That is where me and my husband had to say, we're no longer in survival mode. We paid off debt. Now what? Yeah. So now we are in the journey of building legacy. And that's a beautiful place to be. And we don't really know how to do it. So we are navigating that as we speak, but we all will get there. Like,
most definitely.
When you wake up, are y'all like, ooh, I'm scared. Is the money still there? Is some debt gonna creep up from out of the blue?
Yeah, like, but you know what? It's funny. Like I said, you're taught to what? Get an education, get a job.
Come on,
and then between all of that, you take on debt because you're trying to live. And so you spend your years trying to dig yourself out of debt. And once you get there, it's like, now what?
Yeah.
Yes.
And making sure, I think the scary part is making sure we're intentional, making sure we are building, making sure we are talking to the right people. Although we may not have the question or the answer, we found someone who has the answer, because we have in so many ways maybe surpassed what we were taught by our parents.
Yes.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And trying to share, because it's just hard. You don't know what you don't know.
Definitely. We all here. We rocking with you. We rocking with you, boy. We uncovering some stuff. I know some people gonna have some real deep conversations after this. I don't know about you, but I feel the love get stronger.
And I love that. I love that. Yes. So just to kind of take it a step further, And I think we already tapped into the money fights. Like the money fights, they're happening, they are real. And it was scary when I would continue to research on this topic. We talked about 1 in 3, and now this is saying nearly half of couples. So between, two people, two couples, one of those couples are struggling and they're fighting over money. And then I'm like, wait a minute. If your head is not in the right space for money, there is no room for intimacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's no happiness. So not only your money messed up, but your sex life is messed up.
Oh Lord.
Nobody ain't happy.
Yeah.
You walk around with blue and rhyme with alls.
Like nobody's and I was like, we need to talk about it. And you're wondering why you're in a sexless relationship. And it's like, because your money ain't right. And nobody is talking. So now everybody is frustrated. So I think this is just to reflect and to step back and say, it's impacting your physical, your mental. I'm like, it blew my mind to say like how money, it creeps into every part. Like people are expressing that they're depressed, anxiety, they're stressed about the money, and then the lack of having sex. It is like, it's compounding. It's enough to drive people apart. They're seeking pleasure, seeking short gratification elsewhere when they need to look internal and turn to each other and say, wait, we need to pause. Like, we've got to come together. Like, let's talk. What's the root of it? We're not really mad about this. We mad about our money. Like,
yeah. And that's real. And the crazy part is, I think one of the sayings I always live by, denial is not just a river in Egypt. All right. I think people are in denial. Yeah. Like they so focused. It's not that we struggle with money. It's this, because they don't know how to fix the struggle with money part. So they're trying to point something else out that they feel that the other person need to fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm also like digging down to saying 70% of couples have disagreements about finance in a given year. And again, like what and why? To me, I'm like, is that maybe couples are overspending? Are we in a situation, maybe one of the couples in the marriage is not making enough, or the relationship, or maybe it's two people who are not making enough to support their lifestyle? Could it be past choices, how they were raised, not being together, sharing their vision for how they want their money? And are they being honest? Like, I don't know if that resonates, but that's what that number meant to me. Yeah. What do you guys feel like? Because that's a high number. Like, what do you think could be the driver for why 70% of couples are having disagreements?
I can speak from us personally, because we always just kind of use our story.
Yeah.
But I know for me, like when I didn't make enough, or the times where because that's me, like I like to eat. Most women love to shop. I really enjoy food. Like, it's incredible.
It's a love language.
It is my love language. I enjoy it.
That's how I got her.
Right. We were in college, y'all. That Zaxby's was good, honey. That
was $100 on a college budget. You know what I'm saying? Look, we ain't Zaxby's now. I don't know.
But I found myself being embarrassed about it. I found myself not being forthcoming. And then Tim would have his resistance about money and like us putting it together. I remember my first time asking you, can we put it together? You were like, well, what are we gonna do that for? But no one, we didn't see it. He had both his parents. I grew up with a single mom, so who did not have great money habits. So it's just, I think that's a big, and that just manifested into me being scared to say it. Like, I don't have it. Yeah. I don't know if I made enough. I don't want him to look at me differently, because I'm going to figure it out, but I don't want him to look at me differently if, I'm not money savvy, or, all of these things. So that's just a real part from us.
Yeah, and I had both my parents who still was broke. So I mean, I don't know if parents got anything to do with it.
I'm saying, like, most people say a 2-parent household will typically bring more stability.
Yeah, but I mean, with us working in finance, we sit on people are struggling financially.
Yeah.
And like, so put on the economy, put on past traumas, put on how other people, the way they've learned how to deal with money, how they think about money. You put all that together, I definitely can see well around 70% of couples have disagreements about finances. Because it's a lot of different factors being thrown in a pot and stirred up and spit out into somebody's face.
Mm. We got a few comments on this specifically, Rhonda.
Okay.
One was 70% comes from not having an honest conversation, like not having any feelings involved.
Facts, no feelings.
Yes.
Mm.
And then there was some people spend so much out of comfort, or people spend because they feel like they deserve that piece of happiness.
I'll even
or
add
gave
to
them
that.
the instant gratification.
I'll even add, I know a lot of people spend out of scarcity. They feel like if I don't spend it all, then it's something gonna take
That's
it.
good.
Like I'd rather, I think that's where YOLO come from. I only live once, so let me go ahead and break the bank because who knows what this gonna be like when you know what I'm saying, in the future.
All right.
Yeah. I agree. Like it's gonna be so many things, but to call it out and name it, I think will help us. Like, hey, like this happened. Like, like it's almost like when we have these open and honest conversations, it makes it real, so we can recognize it when it's popping up and saying, "Oh, this is really not about me. This is maybe because I'm not showing up for my partner in this way, or maybe she is or he is thinking about what happened in his childhood." And just pausing and giving space for that. And I don't think we do that enough. But to say, I'm here now, I'm wanting to show up the best way I can, and just say, let us learn together is half the battle. I think it's just having communication and meeting your partner where you guys are now and figuring out what it looks like for you. Because although you might have had someone in the home or did not, you're going to do it different. Just like parenting.
Yeah.
You have great parents, but you go do it different and it's okay. Like, and that's what I think about money conversations in any relationship.
Yeah. That's real. Yeah. That's true. That's definitely true.
And through our money conversation, which have not all been comfortable, but needed, I realized that I like to eat out or try different foods so much because I was denied that growing up. It was always we don't have. So when I get to, if I come to a point of where I want to eat out and I don't have it, that would send me into like a thing. And I think we were riding in the car when I got the revelation and I shared that with him. And then it kind of let him have more grace for me to see like, okay, well, what can we do to make sure that this can be in the budget or kind of take it more seriously.
Definitely.
Thank you for sharing it. Like that is a real moment of just saying what it is and what makes you tick, because your partner doesn't know if you don't say it, and just being vulnerable. Just being vulnerable. Someone said ain't no like that's just being vulnerable, because if you blow up and then you giving Tim the silent treatment, he's like, what's her problem? Like, she know we ain't got the money for it. And you know,
and now I'm going down the trip of my family and I'm like, we ain't gonna never have it, and it's just like, it's, you know,
and it can be melodramatic.
Yes.
Oh, my life is over. I can't get this one Chick-fil-A meal. You don't love me no more.
But yeah,
you spiraling.
like it's real, and you really gotta have that conversation not only with your spouse but with yourself.
Yes.
Yes. And it's okay. It's okay to just say, why am I doing this? And sometimes you don't even really know why you're doing it, but it is things that you've seen or behaviors. Because I realized, like, my mom loved to shop, and so instead of saying stuff like, "Oh, I went shopping," she put it in her trunk of her car. Like, and then little by little, mom would come and she would put stuff in the closet. Like, but those are things that I saw growing up. I'm like, oh, well, if you don't really want to talk about your purchases or what you're doing with your money, you slowly put things in the house, and maybe your dad, your spouse will see it, maybe not. But it's like those things you don't realize and you take them on And then you're like, why the hell was I doing that? And you somebody got to sit you down and have a real serious come to Jesus conversation about what you're doing, but you just don't know you're doing it because it's just
Just
what you've
what you
been
used
doing.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I seen growing up. That's normal. I'm supposed to put my shopping in the trunk and then sneak it in the house. This is all normal behavior, sir.
Yes.
Don't pay me no mind. Let me just do my thing. You didn't see nothing, but yeah. But on all seriousness, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace because things that might have happened in your childhood and how you interacted with money or your understanding of money is just going to evolve as you grow and as you learn. So I always tell my clients, think people I work with, just give yourself grace. We're all going to do it differently. But as long as I know that you are really intentional about what you're doing, that's half the battle of just showing up.
Yes.
I know, are we over at 8, Tim
Yeah,
V?
we're probably gonna wrap it up around about 8 o'clock.
Sure, sure. Well, no worries. Then we can we can kind of move, and I want to make sure we do give some time if we have questions. But like I said, we didn't want to leave with all the doom and gloom and leave this group without sharing knowledge and how you can show up as your best self as couples. And so these are things that we've kind of been talking about as we've gone along in our conversations. But in order to make sure that there is no stress, well, there always may be some underlying stress when it comes to money and finance because that's just life. But if you come at it intentionally and you are having regular money checks, and when I say regular money checks, this is, we are sitting down with a spreadsheet or however if you're writing it down, spreadsheet, an app, whatever the case may be, but you have to understand what are our expenses, what are what income are we bringing, and what do we need to do, like what needs to be paid first, what do we need to defer. If you're coming at it together, you're not going to be alone. Another thing that healthy couples or couples do who are intentional is, what are your financial goals? Make sure that you're saying, okay, are we paying off this credit card? Are we doing this? Are we stopping subscriptions? It's like, once we are on the same page, it makes it easy. It's not, well, that's what Tim wanted to do, or that's what V wanted to do. It's we. You make sure you have an agreement so there is no misunderstandings when it comes to money. Because I think that that's where the breakdown comes, is there was not a clear direction on what people were supposed to do, and then the money gets spent and you're frustrated. So make sure that you have shared financial goals, transparency about debt. Don't hide your debt. Try to be as transparent as you can. This is what I have. How can we address it? And then we've already kind of talked about the joint budgets planning, and that is just coming together. This is our budget, and stick to the budget as much as you can. And if something goes awry, don't take it that you've got to fix it on your own. That's why you have a partner. Make sure you're talking about whatever needs to be addressed that was outside of what you guys discussed.
Got you.
1000%.
So what I'm hearing is you gotta disclose if you got any kids, okay? Craziness, right? STDs and debt. Those are the 4 things we discuss. What you have before we jump this broom is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
Yep. Pretty much. Pretty much.
And so I kind of talked about this. So this is just kind of continuing too. So I'm glad that is not the first time we're kind of approaching this, because we've talked about it throughout our time together, is how do you budget for, couples? And I think it's okay. And it will take time for couples, like V pointed out, that everybody may not be at this place. But if you start from a trust of, you're going to have your money, I got my money, and we have a joint account, and just start small and just build from there. And one of the things I always want to share is, when you are tracking your spending, it will show you what you're spending more money in. Like for V, she said they may be spending more in food, and that's okay. Or maybe it's clothes, or you like gadgets, or whatever the case may be. And if you realize that, hey, I kind of went too far left in this particular area of spending, try to dial it back little by little, and that will kind of help you stay in alignment. But when you track it, you can see it. If you're just spending and swiping because you know you have the money in the account, you have no idea where your money is really going. And then the last thing I wanted to say about budgeting is plan for the things that you want to do. Date night, vacations. When you are intentional about planning and budgeting, those things will happen, and it won't feel like a strain. You don't have to rely on reaching for the credit card or doing the, I guess what, buy now, pay later kind of concepts, but it's all about intentionality and how you approach any process when it comes down to your finances.
There's plenty of loans out there. I mean, Cash App will give you a loan now. I mean, if you spend enough on Cash App, they'll drop you about 150, 200. It's not no plug for Cash App, but I'm just saying that there are loans everywhere. Stay away. That is debt.
Debt that we don't want to bring into the relationship. And then the final thing that I wanted to kind of impose upon is like, how do you even approach it when you are trying to tackle what is your debt? And so, two things that I kind of brought up I wanted to mention is when you're paying off debt is first get an understanding of where is your debt? What do you owe? And just list it on a spreadsheet. Keep it simple. Google Sheets, Excel, I don't care. Just write all of your debts down. There is a method where you do smallest debt to biggest or biggest to smallest, however you want to do. Just be consistent about writing all your debts down and how you attack them. And I will say, and we learned this as we went, is pay more than the minimum. I don't care if it's $20, $30. I don't just whatever you do with the bills that you have, pay more than the minimum because you're never going to get out of debt just paying the minimum payment. And we had to figure that out the hard way. We lost a lot of time and traction just surviving month to month. But when we were intentional and we're putting more money to that debt, that's when we saw progress.
Just fell off. Wow.
That's where we saw progress. So I know we're at the top of the hour, but that really concludes my notes that I had for the audience.
Okay. So guys, look, if you're on your phone, you know what I'm saying, screenshot this. This is one of the ways you can get in touch with Rhonda. We definitely gonna have her drop all her socials and all the stuff like that. Not social security number, talking about social media pages, right? For some of y'all scamming people out there. Yeah, a lot of y'all registered, but I just want to make sure. But we're gonna definitely have her drop her socials in a bit. But first things first, I do want to get to some questions that people had, so that we can make sure that we get people can get what they paid for free.
Absolutely. Let's see. Okay, here we go. If you are not married, how do you begin having these conversations with your potential partner? Financial conversations.
I think one of the ways is to kind of talk about what your expectations are. Like, are you someone who has debt? If you say, I have debt and I'm working to really pay off my debt, what do you think about it? So, kind of say what you're doing and then see how they respond. If they are kind of laxy daisy, like, oh, I'll get to it, or oh, I don't know, or they are not really like kind of avoiding the question, that would say, hey, we may not be aligned. Because if you are intentional about, hey, I want to knock this out so I can do X, Y, and Z, and he doesn't seem to really care about his debt, or she doesn't really care about it, that's going to cause problems. Like, because you can't have someone who is trying, you guys are going in two different directions. So you're always going to butt heads when it comes down to how are you spending the money.
Okay. All right, we got a new question that just came in. You just keep the questions up. You the question person.
It says, what are the top 5 steps, or the first 5 steps you and your husband use to pay off of the $200,000 debt that y'all killed?
267. We're gonna make sure they put that respect on your name.
7,000. I want to know what are the first 5 things.
Is it probably even simpler than 5? Like, if I'm really being honest, is once you got it, what's your why? Tell me what your why is, because if you don't have your why, you're not going to be motivated when stuff. I was about to cuss when it.
It's okay. This is PG rated. You know, so we do PG-13.
And when you say your why, do you mean like why you want to get out of debt?
Yes, what's your
Okay.
why? Like, you have to be motivated when it gets tough and you're tired and you feel like you're denying yourself. What is going to keep you grinding? So for that was our why. Like, we wanted, one, to be able to spend our money, tired of spending it on bills. Like I said, wanting to make sure I can send my kid to whatever daycare or do whatever I want to do. And so we got intentional with what made us get out of debt, right? So it was our why. And then two, it was listing all of our debt. We didn't know, like, oh, you got that student loan, or oh, you got that credit card. Like, it was like be like putting all our debt together. Um, and then it was making some hard sacrifices. Like, my husband had got a car, and we're like, you know what, we don't really need that. So what he did is he went and he turned it in the auction direct. And we took the money and we went to one of the side lots and got like a $3,000 car. So it's like, are you willing to make those sacrifices? So those are things that we made hard sacrifices about, like how we were living. And then we started to be small in that even when our income was increasing, we did not increase our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So we still are, we're making good money, but we're like, all right, we got to keep it small because it's hard. It's hard to say, I deserve, I need, and I want, and I'm tired of this car, and I'm tired of living here, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. But if you make those sacrifices, you will have all of that and some. You will have the money coming in and you don't have to sacrifice, and you can do what you want to do and not feel guilty about doing it. And another thing that we did is once we did those things, every time we had a little bit of money, instead of we got refunds, we were throwing it at the debt. We did not take it and say we're going on vacation or we're doing
You gotta
this.
get that Tahoe.
Yes. Oh, your Tahoe. Yeah, we everything that we had that were lump sums, and we attacked, like, if we agreed, like, this is the bill we're going to pay, and we kept paying off and paying off and paying off it. And like, once we paid off that bill, now that bill was, maybe, let's say the minimum payment was that 100, and then we were paying extra, we rolled that into the next bill on the list. So that when it says a snowball, you are going to be knocking down stuff so fast, you're like, wow, I didn't even know it. So I think, if I'm just off top of head, is being intentional, having those check-ins, and being deliberate with the money.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, that's a real big sacrifice. I know we're gonna do one last question and we're gonna wrap it up here. Um, Taking your car back and taking it in and turning it into action. It's an auction now and going to the side lot.
I don't even know if people knew you could do that.
Well, people know you can probably do it, but the thing is, it's kind of that keeping up with the Joneses. I know a lot of people like, well, what will people think of me? Like, I pull up in this busted Honda and I had a BMW before, and now I pull up in this busted Honda. They like, well, what do they think about me? And then the last thing I'll just mention or just comment on is the why. The why is something that's so strong. We always say your why should make you cry.
Yeah.
Your why should make you cry, because that's what you really have to lean on when times are rough, things don't look like they're not gonna get better, or when you missing out on something you really want to be at. Just really leaning on that why to get you ahead. So, baby, go ahead and finish it up with that last question, and we're gonna get Rhonda give us socials. We can get up out of here.
Okay. Other than the Dave Ramsey course, what additional resources did you utilize to get you in the right mindset?
I'm going to say I leaned on my husband and my faith.
Okay.
Like, when times were hard and you're struggling, and it's something where you're not trying to run to your family about it. It's like you made those decisions, whether you did them separately or together, whatever the case may be. So yeah, we used Dave Ramsey, but I had to be honest. My husband was like, we got to live. So we didn't follow all of his principles, but we used as a foundation because we didn't know where to start.
Yeah.
And it was like once we had an idea of how to do it, we had to make it work for us. And then just trusting and believing and praying that God was going to make a way. So that is where we were just in the trenches.
That's
Wow.
what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Wow.
Well, Rhonda, round us off, man. Tell us, give us your socials. How can the people get in contact with you? Because I'm pretty sure some people definitely want to have some conversations with you. Kind of tell a
Okay.
little bit about your specialty, what you actually do, and how people can get in contact with you.
All right. Thank you guys. I love being on talking about this. This is a passion. I definitely want to be able to be an inspiration, because sometimes when you don't see people who like you, it's hard and you get in a state of, I'm going to die with that. And I just want to be that one. If nobody tells you you're not and that you're going to do it, it's not a if, but it's when. So that is what I want to kind of leave here. But I am on Instagram and on YouTube at achievefreedomtoday.com. And if anyone wants to scan the QR code, it's an opportunity just to have a quick kind of discovery call with me and just talk to me, no judgment. We can kind of talk about what it is that you're seeking and trying to do and seeing if any of my services align. But I do offer at the moment a private coaching course. It is a 12-month commitment. This is transformational. I'm here for the long haul. This is not a gimmick. I am going to be your strategic partner, your accountability. We're talking about debt. We're talking about how to increase your income, whether you're staying in corporate or you're looking for entrepreneurship. I'm trying to show up in spaces and be what I wish I had. So that is where I am. And then I do have a 4 weeks for something that is quick, but it's also still very impactful. The 4 week immersion masterclass where we're talking about budgeting. We're talking about your resumes, your interviewing, entrepreneurship. There's also, I have bundled into that 4 weeks after the course ends, having private coaching sessions. So it just depends on what you're looking for. But I'm just happy to serve in whatever capacity and just have a conversation.
So thank you so much for sitting down with us, hosting with the Southern Connect, right? Sitting down with Ms. Rhonda Payne, really participating in this financial date night. We cannot say how much we appreciate this community and how much we appreciate you, Rhonda. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.